Dactylina. But you can see here that the hive is different than the other hives. That is because we have not found a way to make a man-made hive for them to live in. I'll show you an empty one over there, and you'll see why it's very difficult to get them into a man-made hive. You can see here, well, it is black, it is new growth, and they expand outwards. And well, here is very brittle, and it's very dry. But this is still flexible, because it hasn't completed drying yet. And that substance is called propolis. It's a natural antibiotic that the bees make, and they mix it with the sand to create the outside. The propolis acts as the cement and to keep out infections and fungus. You can see that these bees are slightly smaller than the ones before, and they're very good at pollinating. This species is not as picky when it goes to which flowers it goes to, so it pollinates all the different ones. So we try to educate farmers here in Ghana that if you see this in your own tree, you shouldn't try to destroy it, because they don't even know that these are bees. They think that they may be harming their plants. So we try to inform them that they are bees and they are all pollinating the crops. So we try to inform them of that. And also that makes the honey not as good, since they're not as picky as to which flowers they'll go to. They'll go to some flowers that have very bitter tasting honey. And this honey, this species is more defensive than the other species. Even though stingless bees cannot sting, they still can attack pests. And they do this by either spitting some propolis on them, which makes it is very sticky, so they can't move, or they will try to bite them, or they'll enter the hair and try to pull your hair out. And then also try to enter your eyes, your nose, and your ears. So they annoy and disturb, but they do not sting.
Okay. They do other things.
They do other things. Because if you think about it, so many different animals want to eat the honey or to eat the bees themselves. Like a lizard can sit up here and just eat at them all day long. That's why we have the cats to scare away the lizards. And then if you think ants love honey, anything sweet, so that they can also attack. So we try to protect the bees from ants by putting dirty oil on the bottom of the legs of the shed so they can't climb up. Any questions of the Dactylina? Okay. Be careful of you. So here we have the same species, the Abrafo bacandi, or more commonly the brown bees. And here we have a different species, the Abrafo ferruginogona, and they are very shy. They don't like people as much. They're not as aggressive as the Dactylina, but they're not as friendly. See here I can put my hand and they're still coming and going. If I put my hand out, they will stop the movement from going in and out. And they also protect their hive by having guards always at the entrance of the hive to make sure that unwanted pests and predators cannot enter the hive. You can't see them right now because they go inside a little deeper when there's people around. But they're slightly smaller than the bacandi, but not as small as the Dactylina, and they're black in color. So commonly we call these the black bees. And sometimes this hive in particular makes a fermented honey. So when you open up the hive, it's sealed, so you hear a popping noise, and the honey is actually fermented a little bit.
How often do you harvest the honey?
We try to harvest the honey about twice or once a year, depending how big the hive is or how the weather conditions are. We try to harvest in the dry season, because that's like the summertime. And then the rainy season is like the harsh period, where it's like the winter. There's no winter here. So you can tell by picking them up sometimes when the honey is, when there's a lot of honey, you can kind of tell how much honey it is by trying to picking it up. And also you can smell it when it's ready. It gives off a smell. how we get it out. So we cut open, so there's little platforms here, and we don't touch this because this is where the queen and the brood, all the baby bees live. And if you dissolve that, then you won't have a future generation. So we try to cut here, and then we poke holes in the pot, and we drain them off. And it's very simple, and then we put it back, and then they fix it all up.
Do you ever have bees like from here going into other?
No.
So they kind of stay with
They stay with their own hives. When the bees leave, when the female bees leave to go foraging, they orientate themselves. And each day they'll go a little bit further until they're more familiar with the area. And if I move this hive to up here, the bees will be about confused for about a day, but they'll eventually find the way. Each queen gives off different pheromones, and that's kind of like how they tell which one is the hive, but also the location is very important. And the honey, the Stingless bee honey has a little bit more water than the normal honeybee honey. And since it has more water, therefore the honey of the Stingless bee is more medicinal and can be used to treat pink eye infections and other wounds on the skin, and also can be ingested to increase the immune system.
That's
So surely we have to eat.
We do.
Yes, we have to
do.
eat. We have to survive. So actually, that is what we do. So after his studies in Brazil, he brought the idea and then picked some MPhil students, master students, went to the villages in the Volta region. We have about 10 regions in Ghana. So we moved to about 7 regions in the country. And then surely we had some gathering with the farmers, beekeepers, and then they told us, yes, we've seen them. We brought them pictures for them to see. Oh yes, I saw this here, I saw. So we followed them, and it's true. Some were lies anyway, but most of them were telling us the truth. So we educated them, telling them that no, these bees, they control the world. They build the forest, they plant the forest for us. You know, when they pollinate, when the food falls, herbivores, birds, they pick them. They are what regenerating the forest. They build the forest. So there is no need for humans to cut trees. This community, that's our main problem we have in here. People just cut trees anyhow. So we tell them. So we've also added environmental education to it. You see, Ghana is full of faults. Rabbits. And research have shown that these rabbits that we've been throwing around, it takes 30-35 years before they get rotten. So just add my age. See my age, 35 years. What will I be? So you see that our world, Ghana country is just crumbling down. So we have to educate school children. So we go to schools, they do come here. So schools is free of charge. Yeah, because we educate them. They have to know what the bees do in the world. So basically, I think that's all we are saying. And we move out. We go out, outreach. We have our substation, 3 substations in the country. That we always go there to see how they are doing it. To see if there's any improvement, a new technique that we've also gotten, we give it to them. The education is going on gradually. It's not that fast, but that's why we are moving. We'll get somewhere. So we had a Peace Corps member. She's the one taking the PT. He's been here for almost 1.5 years. So we're living next year. But she wants to renew her contract. She wants to stay again another year. She thinks this place is good.
This is great.
So in the afternoon, they are really happy. Afternoon, humans will be suffering. Oh, too much heat. But they will be happy. Look at the way they are picking pollen to make honey. And this one, they make their honey in pots. I'll open one log, natural log for you to see. They are in pots. Round one, and their honey is the best. Very, very nice. Very good. That's what we are selling.
We'll definitely get one.
So that is it. If you have a wound, you know there are some wounds so 10 years, 20 years it's still there.
Yeah.
But we have a gauze, we mix it with it, and then we just place it on it. And you just take all the water on it. It will be free. Yes.
So why was the log cut?
Yeah, we wanted to show people that the bees actually are in logs. I don't know.
But not in these logs. They are in the logs in the forest.
That's where we went.
Yes. So
That's
they have to. If they have to see it in Takrade, they have to go to Takrade to see it in the woods, in the logs.
In the log, or you can even go to Volta, Abrafo. It's all over.
Because right now, if they see it cut here, if somebody didn't get a message right, the person would think that the bees are in a cut log and put here.
What happened was that the logs, these are felled logs. These are felled trees. They are not in trees itself.
Yeah.
That is one thing. When something is felled,
so you cut it and brought it here.
Cut it, we shape it, we calculate it. We have diameter that we calculate. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. We cut it. Are you with me?
Yeah, but maybe the side you cut off, that is where.
Sometimes you cut. Look at this. That's why we are drawing this. When we cut, it was getting closer to the awning, so we have to stop and then move a little bit ahead. So after that, we cut another distance. You get me?
No.
You don't get me?
That's an example of what you would see.
What I'm saying is that we calculate. You get it? There's the entrance. There's the entrance. There are horizontal ends at this place, and then let's say there are vertical ends at this place. Normally, sometimes we miss the calculation anyway. So we use a chainsaw to cut.
So you don't cut at all. You leave it there. Let the bees. All you have to do is to make a wooden fence around it that nobody should go disturb them. And you go there to harvest your honey.
Let me explain further.
Yeah.
What happened is that it's not only one tree that we cut.
But it had bees somewhere. It had bees somewhere on that tree. So rather I would prefer that look for a tree that hasn't got a bee on it yet. Then you cut that tree and bring it here.
Inhabit.
Yes.
It will never inhabit.
Right now, this log is cut and put here.
Yeah, because they were inside. Yeah.
Because they were inside. Are those same bees in this log?
Yeah, they're the same bees.
Right now.
They are there. These are ferruginea. These are shy ones. Check them.
No, in this log. In this log. They are in this log.
Look at the entrance.
But you keep them there. It hasn't got nutrient. For all you know, it's a nutrient from the dead tree, or the little nutrient left. That is what they are feeding on.
No. What they do, just listen. What they do is they don't feed inside. They go out.
Okay.
They go out for pollen.
Yeah.
They go out for food. They go out for water, for oil, to feed. So when I close this entrance for 3 days, because they have enough food inside, they can survive.
But do you know what they do inside right now? Can you tell what they do inside?
What they do.
Yes.
What they do is they make their honey. Yeah, they make honey in pots.
Yeah.
The workers, most of the workers are females.
Yeah.
And that is what they do. So the females are working. They have involucrum. That's where they make the honey inside. That's what they are working. So when I open one for you, you see what is happening inside. You are not convinced?
Oh, I'm convinced. Actually, you know something?
Actually, yeah.
I need an information. That is why.
Okay.
So maybe you can go and you can go to